good evening, or whatever time of the day it is you're listening to this podcast. Welcome back once again to the Mirror Army podcast for another episode. I'm a wee bit shocked this morning as I record this podcast. I wake up this morning to some absolutely crazy news, which I'm going to talk about on the podcast this morning. Now, I've obviously got a few things I want to talk about like I normally do here on the show. But when I got up this morning, I turned on the television this morning to have my coffee, as I always do before recording my podcast, and what I see on the TV just literally makes me say to myself, what type of fucking world are we living in? Like, it just gets from bad to worse every single day. More on this shortly, guys. Just a breaking story this morning that's going all around the world at the minute about another incident involving innocent people being, should we say, slaughtered to death for no reason. And it's a bit of a dampener to start the podcast today on Thursday, because you all know I enjoy Thursday's podcast because I like to talk about what I'm up to this weekend, talk about the stories, answer your questions. We've got Jackass of the Week and all that, our usual stuff here on the podcast. But when I see stuff like this, I just sort of go, like this, I keep repeating myself every week, this world is just losing the fucking plot. I'll talk about it in just a wee second, guys. But anyway, sorry to start the podcast on a bit of a dampener this morning, because it really has annoyed me, this. But anyway, moving on. Guys, welcome back to the Mirror Army podcast for another episode. Hope you're all keeping well out there. Thank you so much for all your listens on all the platforms over the last couple of days since last Tuesday's podcast. I do appreciate, obviously, all you guys getting in touch with me as well. Do appreciate it. It was great to see. I was checking some of the numbers this morning on how we're getting on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. And obviously, guys, thank you everybody for downloading the podcast, tuning in, streaming, whatever it is you're doing to the podcast, listening to us on TuneIn Radio. If you're listening to us on YouTube right now, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit like on this podcast as well. Before I get into some of the stories today, guys, once again, you all know the routine now. If you're a regular listener to the podcast, obviously you'll know this. But if you're not and you're new to the podcast, hello, how you doing? Sorry I sound a bit down this morning, guys. It's just when I heard this news this morning that really sort of hit home for me. I do normally sound quite more upbeat than this. So, but anyway, yes, if you want to get in touch with the podcast, guys, you know how to do it by now. If not, then I'll tell you now before I continue on. If you want to get in touch with the show, listen to any questions, ideas for the podcast, whatever it is you want to get in touch with me, you can contact me via the email, which is mirrorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Social media, Instagram, which is official Matthew Moore on Instagram, official Matthew Moore on TikTok. You can contact the Mirror Army Facebook page, which is Mirror Army YouTube channel. Please drop a like on the Facebook page, I would appreciate it. Also, if you'd like to go to our website, which you can get all the Mirror Army merchandise, which we're going to be releasing some actually next week, which is great news for Christmas. Check out all our social media photographs. Take a Mirror Army hub, basically. You can watch all the old vlogs, you can watch everything else on there and more. It's mirrorarmy.co.uk. Guys, again, I just sound a bit... It's hard to explain this morning how I sound. And the reason why I sound like this morning, and I'm sure you've probably heard this, again, there's another mass shooting. These people, we've talked about this. This podcast has been going now for well over a year, and we've talked about ones before where people going into the likes of schools and shooting innocent children. People get into random places and just opening up fire on random people. And we've got another one this morning. A gunman opens up at a bowling alley, just walks in with an automatic weapon and just opens up fire. Apparently suspected 22 dead and over 60 injuries as well. Apparently there's like a wee bar beside the bowling alley too. I saw this story this morning as I was getting my notes together for the podcast today, and I just looked at it and went, what type of world are we living in? It's just continuously negative, you know. And I look at things like that and I go, for the love of fuck, like, what type of sick individual does this? I mean, we've seen these incidents happening like a lot recently over the last few years. You know, like the massive shoot at that concert in Vegas. We've had the time the guy walked in, was it last year? He walked into, in America they call it an elementary school, I call it a primary school here in the UK, and just opened up fire on kids. Like, these people are just fucking lunatics. Now, again, you're going to look at it and say, well, what's going through the person's head at the time, you know, when they're doing it? You don't know what's going on in their mind. But the point is, even so, they walk into a random, like, public place and just basically slaughter innocent people is fucking disgusting. I'm sorry. And again, I'm calling a spade here. Anybody who does that is completely off their rocker. And what is going through that person's mind when they're taking those innocent lives of those people, whether it be a child or whether it be an innocent person? I mean, Jesus, man, it happened in a bowling alley. People just out socialising with friends, having a bit of fun with their families, no doubt, or whatever it is, or their kids, or whatever. Now, I don't know why there's any children involved in these killings, but just reading through this morning here. Now, the police are apparently out looking for this guy. His name's, was it Robert? I mean, I've got his name wrote down here somewhere. It's happened in the States, which I'm just trying to get here details up here because I had it here in front of me. Yeah, there you are there. At least 22 people are dead and over 60 people are injured after a gunman opened fire in, is it Lewiston in Maine? The shooter took aim at passers-by with an AR-15 weapon at a bowling alley and then a bar. The manhunt is now trying to find this person who is still about. Robert Card, age 40, from Maine, is named by the Marine State Police as a person of interest. Now, obviously, they've released a lot of images from the CCTV of his car, what he looks like and stuff like that there. It says here as well, Card is an Army Reserve firearms instructor who was sanctioned this summer in his position. They don't know why they said why it's for mental health reasons or not, I don't know, but he was sanctioned for his unusual behaviour. He also made threats to carry out a shooting at a National Guard facility, also in, is it Saco in Maine? He was armed with an AR-15 weapon style rifle when he began his rampage. He says he walked into the bowling alley, opened up fire without any remorse, and obviously over 22 people have been killed. He says the police officer have also announced that they have found the suspect's vehicle, a 2013 white Subaru, but he wasn't inside the car. He says the ongoing investigation goes to try and find this gentleman. So, again, guys, sorry to start the podcast today off in a bit of a dampener, but I just thought I'd bring this up straight away today because it is obviously breaking news around the world and people are talking about it right now. Another mass shooting of innocent people being killed. I mean, we were talking about that. I mean, I talked about this in Tuesday's podcast recently there where I said, you know, I'm not going to talk about the war. All this war going on over in Israel and stuff like that. I'm not going to speak about it because I don't want to take a lot of time on the podcast to talk about it. And again, if I start getting into a subject like that, obviously people then are going to start saying, oh, you're being this and you're being that and you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. I could talk about it all day, but I'm not going to because, again, I don't like to try and bring dampeners to this podcast as much as possible, but when something like this happens, like innocent people having their lives taken yet again by someone who, I don't know, I mean, he was just recently sanctioned for his unusual behaviour. Whether it's mental health issues, I don't know. Whether it's other type of, we don't know the full situation right now at the moment, but I mean, 22 innocent people are dead and 60 people are currently injured. You know, when I look at these situations like that, and I sort of go to myself, like, what is going through a person's mind to pick up a weapon like that and just walk into a random place like a bowling alley and just execute normal innocent people. It's sick. That person obviously is not right frame of mind, or again, you don't know what's going through a killer's mind at the time, whether they get a kick out of it, whether they enjoy it, or whether they just want to, they've got their own issues. I mean, you see a lot of people saying, and a lot of stories you hear about people being murderers over the years, and they go, well then, obviously as soon as they kill people, they automatically turn the gun on themselves and kill them, so take their own life, which has been a case on multiple times. But again, you just don't know what's going through a person's mind at the time whenever they're doing all this type of shit, where they're just going in and killing innocent people. It's heartbreaking, guys, and it's shocking, and it's just like, whoa, you know, what I don't know, the world's just going fucking boogaloo. Day after day after day after day, you see these stories unfolding, and again, gun crime in America again is going mental again under the watch of Mr. Sleepy Joe Biden. You know, and I understand, yes, there's always going to be guns out there, there's always going to be gangs out there, there's always going to be different things like that. But at the end of the day, you know, we need to have a government in place where we can try and control this and maintain this and stop this problem, because innocent people are being fucking killed every single day. And it's obviously going to continue on, but it's just, when you see things like that, you're going, fucking hell, man, what is going on in people's minds when they want to do things like that? But I mean, I want to keep looking in more into that story today as the day goes on, because again, as I said in that statement, that he had unusual behaviour. He was an instructor, and obviously his behaviour was a bit unusual recently. But you think if things like that were flagging up, you'd obviously monitor this situation, especially if he's doing really strange, unusual behaviour. You know what I mean? Especially if someone's acting out of character or being strange or really odd, worrying, like sort of situation where you're like, fuck, here, that's not right, that's not normal. You think they would try, especially if he's in, what did I say? I think he was in a marine or something like that, I was reading a minute ago. But things like that, people in that position, you know, you would sort of think to yourself, whoa, we need to monitor this situation, because this person could be struggling with mental health problems. They could end up taking their own life, or they could end up doing what he ended up doing. Or on the other side of it, he could just be an absolute fucking lunatic and just go out and just thought, I'm going to kill innocent people, like he has done. But you don't know. That's the thing. You just don't know. But again, this has happened again. Another mass shooting. Obviously, I'm going to try and keep an eye on things from the side of the States today. Just keep an eye on the story today and see what is going on. It's just fucking mental, guys. Like a bowling alley. Like, could you imagine that? Like, if you're there with, say, your children, and you're just out for a day out, and some guy just randomly walks in with a fucking gun and just wipes everybody out. You know, I don't know. These shootings I've seen in the last year especially has just been insane. Like that time that we were talking about a few months ago on the podcast about that school, where the guy it was an ex-pupil, and he just walked into the school and just killed innocent children. I don't know. It's crazy, guys, but sorry to start the podcast on a bit of a dampener today, but it's just, when I saw that this morning, I thought, my good God almighty, what is the world going on to? It's crazy. But I'm not going to continue anymore about this. Well, other things I want to talk about on the podcast today, guys, so I got some of your great questions I want to get into as well, so let's move on from this. I'll keep an eye on it. If I hear any more about it, I'll probably talk about it briefly, not very much, on Tuesday, when I'm back with the podcast, on our Halloween special. That's right, I forgot. Sorry, on Tuesday, because it's obviously Halloween, we're going to do a Halloween special. So what I want you guys to do for me for Tuesday is send me in some of your some of your stuff of your favourite Halloween memories growing up as a kid. Like, what was your favourite outfit you dressed up in, your favourite Halloween memories, just all different things they got there. So we'll talk a bit more on that later on in the podcast as well. Okay, well, other things I want to talk about on the podcast today. This is another wee subject that I see popping up quite a bit recently. Scammers. Yeah, scammers. People who are out there scamming people for money. Just in general, I hear this all the time on social media, and also I see it on TV and I read about it online and stuff like that. People being scammed out of money. And the most recent one that I actually saw and heard about was people even as far as, on chat rooms and dating sites and things like that, where you see people like pretending to be someone and, oh yeah, I want to meet you and stuff like that, and then the next minute they are saying, I'll come over and I'll meet you and I'll come over from a different place and meet you and all. And then when it comes to that time, they're going, oh, but I haven't got enough money to meet you. Can you pay for a flight or pay for that? And then they start scamming people out of money. Phone scammers as well. People ringing up like elderly people and saying they're calling from certain companies and whatever else, and they're not really. Scamming people out of money nowadays is absolutely horrendous. And blackmailing people, and you just see it all the time. People being targeted, like for example, online banking, people's banks being hacked into, people's personal social media accounts being hacked into, all these different things. I mean, I'm a victim of it myself, because obviously, if you're listening to or watch my YouTube channel, my channel was hacked into recently as well, and I was a bit worried about it because of my personal details and whatever else. But the thing I keep seeing all the time now in the public is scamming. People being scammed into money. People using people for money, pretending to be people who they're not. The likes of charities and all these different things. I mean, I worked in call centres and all too as well, growing up, when I was a lot younger. I worked in a couple of call centres over the years, obviously in between jobs and whatnot. And you see, you ring up some people like trying to help them with certain things, whatever, and some people just automatically push the panic button and think you're a scammer. But there is people out there who are doing that. And I actually saw a funny video one time recently. My friend Chris, he listens to the podcast. Hello, Chris. He actually turned it into a funny reel video on Instagram where this scammer was actually ringing him up, but trying to pretend to be somebody and trying to get money off him. And at the very end of the call, he screams like, "You're a fucking scammer. I know you're a scammer. Yep, cheating, whatever else." No, it's so funny. He turned it into a funny video. But this is what happens. People are being scammed in all different aspects through, especially the elderly. People are being targeted for money, and they're being scammed out of money. Like, an elderly person answers the phone, and they answer the phone to this random person saying, "Hi, we're calling from your insurance company," or "We're calling from this." I mean, for I think it was up until about a year ago, I used to get these wee random calls on my phone going, and I go, "Hello," and it was, "We heard you've been involved in an accident. Please call this number now to claim your money." Or you get these emails saying, "Hi, I'm Prince or Princess or whatever, Allah, whatever your name is, from such and such a country. You have come into all this money and we want to share it with you. All you got to do is share your bank details with us and we'll transfer the money to you." Hold on, wait the fucking will. Kiss my ass. It ain't going to happen. But it's the scammers nowadays out there is just horrendous. The amount of scamming and the blackmailing too as well. Like, as I said to you there, for example, I was reading a story there the other week about this guy who was on a dating site with this girl, and he was talking away to her and stuff, and then he was stupid enough they were exchanging images with each other and stuff like that, and she says, "Well, if you don't give me money, I'm going to share these images all over the place, and I'm going to name and shame you." And she tried to scam him out of money. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking a little bit of money, I'm talking hundreds and thousands of pounds, basically trying to clear this guy out of money. But this is what happens, guys. There's scammers out there all the time. You even get letters through your door, worrying about certain things. Like, my mum would call me all the time and say, "Oh, I had this marketing call today from such and such and all, and blah, 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 blah." I just say to mum now, if you don't recognise the number, don't answer the number. And if you answer the call and they start using funny, you have any type of suspicion that it's a scam, end the call, block the number, don't answer the phone anymore. Because I used to get it all the time. Scammers saying, "Hi, we're calling from such and such, where." Dead on. The accident one was the best one. "You've been involved in an accident." Blah, blah, blah. And then they put you through to someone and they come on the phone and they go, "Hello, good afternoon." And I'm going, "Hello." And they go, "I recently heard you've been involved in an accident recently." I mean, "Is that right? Yeah. Well, you tell me, where the fuck was the accident? What date, one time? Because something, I must have amnesia because I can't fucking remember." And in the end, they call and they hang up on you. So the reason why I'm bringing this up as well is because, again, I see it all the time. I read it all the time. People being scammed out of money, being scammed out of all their worthy possessions, people being blackmailed. It's just horrendous what I see. And I've been reading a few recent stories about people being scammed out of all their life savings and end up losing their home and losing everything because of these people just being all these schemes that they're doing out there now and trying to corrupt people out of money, and it's just sickening. And the way that they even target the elderly too as well, which is just absolutely horrendous. But it's just when I saw that there, I was reading about it there recently. A couple I was reading about, I was actually a few days ago, a story came up about a retired couple who were lying to their bank to try and get more money, to borrow more money to pay people who were scamming them and blackmailing them. And it was up to the aspects between 60 and 100,000 pounds they were being scammed, which is, I think, absolutely flipping disgusting. So, but again, guys, it's just, you see these stories all the time of innocent people being scammed, and when I see that, especially the elderly, it's like, it's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. But anyway, moving on. What else have I got to talk to you about today? I'm still a bit shaken up actually about that story this morning. Listen to this one. Now, we all know it's October. Halloween's coming up. Now, you all know out there, anybody who don't speak moron knows that after Halloween, that's it. Boom, the Christmas period starts. Here we go. Every fucking shop you go into, Christmas music, Christmas this, Christmas that. For the next 2 months, that's all we're going to see is Christmas trees and Christmas this and Christmas that. And, don't get me wrong, I love Christmas. Especially when the kids were smaller. My kids were smaller. All the magic of Christmas morning when the kids come down and you see all their wee happy faces and blah, 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 and everything's great and the kids have a ball. Now, obviously in recent times, because the kids are a bit older now, they're sort of, the magic sort of goes away. But there's people out there that still have all that in their home with their children and their family, and it's all about being together and stuff like that. We all know what Christmas is like. I could talk about it all fucking day. But anyway, yes, going back to what we were talking about over these last year or so about people changing things and everything's, you can't say nothing now, everything's being politically changed and all this nonsense. Listen to this bullshit. Woke Museum removes Christmas from festive markets and an absurd drive that's using the term that Santa is officially cancelled. A museum has removed the word Christmas from its annual festival celebration instead of choosing to rebrand itself as Winter Market instead. The Bulls Museum, founded by the late ancestors of the late Queen Mother, has been criticised for its bonkers decision, saying that the word Christmas will no longer be used in the facility. Christmas does no longer exist because it's now classed as something different. What planet do these fucking people live on? Seriously, Christmas is Christmas. Most people in this world celebrate Christmas. People look forward to Christmas. So do they. Favourite part of the year. Especially when you get children and you get your family and all. I understand that Christmas sometimes could be hard for people, especially when they're on their own. It's a very lonely time for people on their own, especially the elderly, when they're on their own at Christmas and there's no family around them or whatever, and that's understandable. But these woke dopes, right, again, now saying that no, the word Christmas is not to be used here anymore. Why? Why? I don't understand these fucking balloon heads. Apparently it's been alleged that the woke move has been done to pull in more punters. Are you having a fucking Jimmy Giraffe, or a laugh as I like to call it? Pull in more punters? You're going to drive punters away? People want to go to places like that and go to out at Christmas time. People go to Christmas markets, hence why it's called Christmas fucking markets. What is it, this little fucking vegan, woke fucking little market you go into and, oh, we're going to make a roast dinner out of nuts and we're going to be, we can't say this in here, that's too politically correct. And what the Christmas time is for getting together with your family and going out doing your Christmas shopping and having your Christmas trips to the market and doing all your things and getting things ready for your children for Christmas morning. And, and these woke tards are running around saying, oh no, don't say the word Christmas. No. What are they going to do? They're going to try and take Christmas away now. Just reading this article this morning, I was like, what the fuck? It says, there's a lot of people now criticizing and saying it's now they're trying to take the joy out of Christmas. And then they're trying to say now, what's next? Are they going to try and cancel Santa, the reindeers, children, and also wearing Christmas hats and jumpers? Apparently you're not even allowed to wear a Christmas hat or a jumper when you go to this facility. And they said that basically the terms are being used now. Santa's not here anymore. Santa's cancelled. These people are fucking bonkers. These woke, lefty fucking numpties are just going out of control. And they need to be told, listen, this world does not spin around you, you snowflake. This world does not revolve around you and your beliefs. Yes, you have your beliefs, I have mine. You don't agree with mine, I don't agree with yours. But because I don't agree with yours, doesn't give you the right to slate me and call me a hater or call me this and that. Because at the end of the day, I couldn't give a shit what you're doing. You live your life, I live my life. You want to live on planet fucking Mars, you go ahead and do that, because I live on planet Earth and I live a normal life. But when I see things like that, they're like, not even allowed to use the word Christmas. What? Why? What? I don't know. I give up. I really do give up with these people. I see these stories evolving every single week and it's just crazy. But on to more positive news. For any of you drivers out there, we've been talking about drivers over the last couple of weeks. About, we're talking about, like, for example, in Wales, your man, Mr. Mark Drakeford, the speed limit's now 20 miles an hour in Wales, which is just fucking stupid, but that's just him. But on all positive note, booming Britain, which includes Northern Ireland too as well, and apparently Ireland too, the whole area, says that the manufacture of cars has grew by 40% in September, and also the selling market as well for selling cars has also went up too as well. Now, obviously, we've been talking over the last couple of months about electric cars and about all these different things, and I've had emails from people and messages on Instagram from people who are a little bit wired to the moon, and have been saying to me, like, I don't believe in this, I believe in my electric car and I prefer to drive my... Well, that's your choice, that's fine. But at the end of the day, the UK is one of the biggest car manufacturers on the planet, obviously with the likes of Germany, the United States as well. And it's great to see, after especially all the businesses being shut down over COVID and stuff like that, there now to see these good reports coming out now that the market's starting to get bigger again. And again, we all know, even for example, a lot of people are not so much working in factories anymore because of machinery. Like, you look at all these things about, like, car manufacturer factories are all done by robot now, but it's still to see now that, even reading through this report this morning as well, that the jobs have went up as well. There's more jobs being created as well. And it's good to see that it's up by 40%, which is excellent. It's great to see the economy starting to grow again in the positive way. Because, guys, have been talking about this over the last year or so, about all different aspects of the economy suffering. Businesses going bust and all this here, but it's good to see now that the economy's hopefully now on the right road of turning around and seeing it grow and get bigger and get back to where it once was before all this COVID nonsense where we were locked down and businesses went bust and everything else. But it's great to see that the car industry is actually doing really, really well, which I'm really glad to see, actually, because at the end of the day, the economy is a big important thing, and and the fact that it's creating more jobs, which is even better, which is great. So it is. So, but that was just a couple of wee things I wanted to bring up on the podcast today. And speaking of driving as well, I forgot to mention this too as well. Drivers are warned, obviously, recently, that they'd be breaking the speed limit without not even knowing about it. It says here, millions of British motorists could be breaking the speed limit without even realising it because of their worn tyres. They're actually clamping down now on the way tyres are on your car. So my suggestion to you is always check your tyres in your car, because, again, they're now saying that these rules are stating now that you can only go so fast with a certain type of wear and tear in your car. I'm probably sounds a lot of nonsense, but it was just a report I read this morning there as well. Apparently now people are demanding that you keep checking your tyres. Especially in the winter conditions as well, with like rain and wet roads and snow and all that nonsense. So, because apparently if your tyres are a certain way now, they're going to start handing out more fines, and they're going to start doing more things to punish people. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But that's just some things I wanted to bring up today in the podcast. I mean, obviously it's a few wee things that obviously I want to talk about, but again, with the whole sort of, the damper at the start of the podcast, what to do apologise for, guys. Obviously talking about that mass shooting this morning, which is just fucking bonkers, but it's crazy. So it is absolutely crazy. But anyway, on to me, before I go on to some of your questions, and obviously moving on in the podcast today. Somebody have been contacting me over the last few days. I made an announcement on Tuesday's podcast about myself making a few announcements about the change of the podcast and the change of the channel. Now, I haven't released the announcement video just yet, but I have released a couple of videos since Tuesday. I've released a couple there where Lewis and I go to Belfast. I treat myself to a new gift. We're doing a bit of shopping up there in Belfast. We had a good wee day. And then I released another one yesterday where Lewis, don't even get me fucking started about this drink Prime. Guys, go and check out the videos on my channel where Lewis came home with a crate of rare, like the rare edition of the Blueberry Prime, this whole fascination with Prime, which is now starting to wear off, because any young listeners out there will know they're all rushing to the shops to get these bottles of Prime. And I remember when it first came on the market, I was saying to Lewis, the novelty will wear off. It will not. The novelty will wear off, and it'll get to the point where you can walk into shops and buy it all the time. And it's true, because you walk into places now like Tesco's and flipping B&M Bargains and Lidl's and all these places now, and they're all selling Prime. So, but Lewis was at as the other day with his friend, and he called in and he says, Dad, look, there's rare Prime. Are you okay? Get yourself a bottle of it, no problem. He brought a fucking crate of it home. And then we got some weather in Belfast, so but there you go. Absolutely crazy. But before, another thing as well, I forgot to share at the start of this podcast as well today, guys, but I obviously forgot all about, well, I didn't forget about it. I actually wrote down here, and I should have mentioned it at the start of the podcast when I was going through all my stuff about how you contact me. I want to give a shout out and thanks to Food Guru NI for supporting this podcast and supporting the Moor Army. Food Guru, GURU are a TikTok page who review food and different outlets across Northern Ireland. So if you want to go and check them out on TikTok and also on Facebook, which is Food Guru NI, they do great reviews on all little small businesses, obviously to do with food. So whether it be, fruit shops, vegetable stores, things that do all different types of food, local businesses, stuff like that. Go and check them out, guys. Food Guru NI. They are now available on some of the great videos, actually on TikTok and also on Facebook. Go and check them out. Food Guru NI. And thank you for supporting the Moor Army podcast, and also thank you for supporting the Moor Army. Do appreciate it. What am I up to this week, guys? What am I up to? What have I been up to since Tuesday? What am I up to this weekend? I've actually got a pretty busy weekend. We're back to football this weekend. Back on home soil, which is great, thank God. Lewis is away this weekend with Dad. Him and Dad are going to the Liverpool-Nottingham Forest game on Sunday. So it's kind of strange, the fact that those two are going to the game and I'm not actually there. I wasn't allowed to go, by the way. Yeah, this is the story about it. I got them tickets for the game, but I was also tickets for myself. And my dad and Lewis said, nope, we don't want you going. This is going to be granddad, grandson time. We don't want you there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a fucking laugh. Why can't I come? Oh, no, we don't want you there. I was like, okay, fuck you. I get your tickets for you, but I can't fucking go. I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. So they're off on Sunday. They're back on Tuesday. So they are, and then Lewis and I are away on Wednesday. So we are. So it's going to be an interesting few days, guys. So it is. But this weekend's going to seem strange because Lewis is away with Dad. But no, they'll have a good time, and Lewis will probably do loads of vlogs for his wee YouTube channel and stuff. So go and check out Lewis Moor on YouTube. Just type in Lewis, Luis, and then Moor. You'll find his wee channel on there. Guys, would appreciate if you support his wee channel. But no, yeah, they're away this weekend. I'm at football this weekend. I'm supposed to be going to the ice hockey this weekend as well. without Lewis. So that'll be fun. But it's going to be a strange weekend because the thing is as well, whenever Lewis is away with Dad, Brooke's going to stay with Mum. So basically, I have no fucking kids this weekend. Like, I'm literally Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I have no children. Well, up until Tuesday afternoon, whenever Brooke comes home from college and work, and then Lewis comes home in the early afternoon with my dad. And I'm thinking to myself here, what am I going to do for 3 days with no fucking kids? It was actually, I was speaking to a friend of mine last night on the phone before I started watching the football, and he was like, mate, enjoy yourself, let your hair down, no children for 3 days, enjoy it. And I'm going, but then the last 10 or 11 years, I'm used to having the kids always around me anyway, so I don't know what I want to do with myself. And he's like, mate, just get out there and enjoy yourself, have a beer, chill out, switch off, enjoy your free time. And I thought, I suppose I could actually, yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. It's just a bit strange. You know, it's like even when I went to the football a few weeks ago with Lewis, not being there. You know, I was on the train going to football on the Saturday, and there was no, the seat beside me was empty, and he's normally sitting beside me, and we're normally banter back and forward on the train and whatever else. And you know, it's strange whenever you don't have them with you anymore, or it's strange when they grow up and you don't see them as much. You know, it's just a strange one. I mean, as we speak here this morning, I'm recording this podcast. My daughter's off today, and she's away to Belfast with Mum and Dad. She's away for a shopping trip with Mum and Dad for the day. So it's the joys of your kiddies getting older. You know, they grow up so bloody quick, and then the next minute they're gone. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes over the next few days with no kids. But it's gonna be strange. So it is. But listen. It was to be expected that one day it was going to happen. So, but today, as you all know, it's Thursday. And you all know, if you're a regular listener to this podcast, you know Thursdays I love to obviously have a beer on a Thursday night with Tony, my brother. I don't know why he's coming around tonight or not, but I think I might have a wee beer tonight. But obviously I'm going to watch the Liverpool game with Lewis as well, because Liverpool are playing Toulouse. Now, I was offered tickets for that game, but I turned them down. I even said to Lewis the other day, do you want to go to the Toulouse game on Thursday night? And he went, what? I mean, do you want to go to the Toulouse game on Thursday night? And he went, nah, I'm going with Granda on Sunday. And I was like, okay, fair enough. So, but there you are. And here, that's another thing too as well, guys. I didn't really want to mention this on the podcast again, because I've mentioned it before, and I've mentioned it on my YouTube channel. Guys, for people out there who are continuously contacting me for Liverpool tickets, you need to stop. Seriously, you need to stop contacting me for tickets. I'm not a ticket tout. I'm not going to be a ticket tout for you. It's as simple as that. Because once you get a ticket for one person, then obviously everybody's going to want tickets. So no, please stop asking for Liverpool tickets. Sometimes I find it difficult to even get tickets for myself. And I know that somebody's come in with your wee smart arse attitudes and go, well, how come you get tickets all the time and you don't get tickets for our people? Well, I'm sorry, but my number one priority is me. And I'm sorry that sounds selfish to you, but I try to get to Liverpool games as much as I could, because for a long time I couldn't even go to Liverpool games. So when you get an opportunity to do that, then do it. And they keep asking me, how do you get your tickets? Who do you get your tickets off? I'm not going to tell you who it is, because at the end of the day, if I do, then you're going to torture me and other people around me. So no, it's not going to happen, guys, because I've had a lot of sarcastic people come in and go, you're selfish because you don't help us get Liverpool tickets. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not a fucking ticket seller, and I'm not a ticket tout, so I'm not going to get you your tickets. And I've asked you to stop contacting me, but some of you obviously don't listen, and you just keep doing it all the time, so I'm just going to keep ignoring you. So it's as simple as that. I find it difficult at times to get tickets for myself. So when I get my tickets, then my number one priority is getting tickets for myself. And the people out there who are listening to this will probably be the same, because your main priority is to get tickets for yourself. Even if you're like going to a concert as well, you're in there to get tickets for you, not other people. So guys, please stop contacting me, because I'm not going to get you tickets. I'm sorry, as horrible as that probably sounds, at the end of the day, I'm not a ticket seller. I'm not a ticket tout. So all I can advise you to do is get a membership with Liverpool Football Club. Go into their ballots they have on their website and try and get tickets that way, or join a supporters club. So at the end of the day, I am not a Liverpool ticket tout, and I never will be. So there you go. But anyway, yes guys, that's pretty much what I'm up to tonight. A few cold beers. I know I'm looking outside this morning and the weather's fucking crap today. It's lashing down outside with rain. But I'm looking forward to sitting down tonight and watching the Liverpool game and having a couple of cold beers and just literally switching off. Now, I don't even know if we're going to do a live reaction video tonight or not. I'm not honestly sure. for Lewis and I for the game itself. We might do, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Especially if Tony turns up tonight, because Tony's not a big Liverpool fan. He's a Newcastle supporter, and they got beat last night by Borussia Dortmund. It's actually the game I did watch last night. So it is. So, but yes, guys, I've got a few interesting days coming up. I'm going to drop another vlog here today. From last weekend or last Sunday, where Lewis and I were at the ice hockey, went to the arcades, and we had a really good time. And then after that, I'm going to be dropping the video where I'm going to be telling you guys about the changes to this podcast, the changes to the YouTube channel, and more. So stay tuned to that, because at the end of the day, I've got some big changes coming here to the Moore Army. It's obviously been a tough few months to the last year or so for the channel, and obviously tough for the likes of myself too. But yeah, there is big changes coming. Right, let's get into some of your questions. This is what I love about this podcast. I love hearing from you guys. I really, really do. Right, let's get into some of your questions here. Right, first of all, up the email here, which is moorearmypodcast@yahoo.com. One here, first of all, is from Brendan, who is from County Wicklow. I'm good to see now a lot of you guys are emailing me now and actually putting where you're from, which is great, because some of you just didn't do that. But Brendan from County Wicklow has said, "Hi Matthew, greetings from sunny Benidorm." Okay, lucky for you. I moved to Benidorm a few years ago, and I came across your YouTube channel by just flicking through videos of Ireland back home. I moved here a few years ago with my wife, and it's the best thing we ever did. We have absolutely wonderful experiences here, and it's the best thing we've ever done is move out here. We love listening to all your content on your podcast. We also love watching your videos. Quick question for you. When are you going to start doing more content down in Southern Ireland? Also, can I ask you as well, this could be a controversial question, but I'm going to ask you anyway, as you did say you'd like to hear all different aspects of the world, and to ask your viewers and listeners to ask you anything. Will you ever see a united Ireland at all in the near future? Keep up the good work, and once again, greetings from sunny Benidorm. You lucky bastard. You lucky bastard in Benidorm. That's one place I've never actually been to. Benidorm. Never been there in my life. Anyway, right. Will I ever see a united Ireland in this country? To be quite honest with you, it's a question that I possibly could not answer. The way the politics is in this country is absolutely fucking horrendous. That's why I call Stormont the circus on top of the hill, because it is a circus and the place is an absolute joke. They couldn't run a bath, never mind a country. Honestly, they're a flipping nightmare, the lot of them. Will I ever see United Ireland? I don't know why I'll ever see it in my lifetime. Will it ever happen? I don't know. I know a lot of people from both sides of the community who don't want it. And I'm talking to like Protestant and Catholics, don't want the merger. I obviously have met people over the years who actually wouldn't be opposed to it. They'd be kind of like, okay, well, fair enough. Me personally, would I want it? To be quite honest with you, I don't get involved in politics. I talk about it sometimes here on the podcast. I'm going to get a lot of people who I know who are from one side of the community will be like, oh, you should be saying that you don't want it. No, listen, I don't get dragged into that conversation. At the end of the day, if it happens, it happens. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime because of all the political bullshit and all the arguments and fights and all the crap that goes on. And it's a question that I ultimately can't answer. And I'm not avoiding the question. I'm just telling you how it is. I just don't know if I ever think it's going to happen. Again, I have people who, or even my family, don't want it. I know people from the other side of the community, from the Catholic community, who don't even want it either. And then again, you obviously hear the ones who do say they would like it, obviously, because obviously they want the whole United Ireland. But again, I honestly don't know. I really don't know. Again, maybe I want to get a lot of messages now from both sides of the community about this, saying like, oh, you should support it. And then I'll get the other ones saying like, oh, what are you fucking doing that, supporting that? You don't accept that. No. Look, listen, I live my life the way I want to live it. I don't get involved in all that political bullshit. You know, I grew up in Belfast around the Troubles and stuff, and I seen all that shite and all that nonsense, you know, and, you know, I've got friends from both sides of the community, and there's a lot of people I know from both sides of the community are actually embarrassed about their sides of the community. Like, again, I don't care where you're from or who you are or whatever else. If you're nice to me, I'm nice to you. If you're a good person, I'll talk to you. I'll have you a part of my life. But, you know, again, it's just one of those things. But will it ever happen? I don't know. I really, really don't know. But thank you for asking. I do appreciate it. Now, if it did happen, would it be a bad thing for this country? I don't know. Would it be a good thing for this country? I really don't know. But again, my personal opinion of it all is I don't think it's ever going to happen in my lifetime. Maybe it'll happen in my kids' lifetime or their kids' lifetime. I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. But again, you've seen it with other countries. The likes of Yugoslavia. Remember that country that broke away, and now got Serbia and all that there. It's just like we had Germany, for example, East Germany, West Germany. Then they pulled down the Berlin Wall and just became one big country of Germany. You know, I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. But we'll just have to wait and see. But listen, thank you for your question. And if I'm ever in Benidorm, I'll drop you an email. Yeah, we'll have a pint. Benidorm, never been there in my life. I heard it's not a bad old place. Depends on what part of Benidorm you go to, though. I'd probably go to the quiet part. I'm getting too old for all that shit. Anyway, thank you for your email. I do appreciate it. And to answer your question as well about going down south. Yeah, I would love to go down south more. I've been to Dublin loads of times, but I've always wanted to go to the likes of Donegal and places like that. I would love to go to places like Donegal, because I heard it's a beautiful spot, and I would love to go and see places like that. So maybe soon. We'll just have to wait and see. I was in Dublin not that long ago, actually, with Tony. That was a weird experience. That was a fun experience. If I can go on to watch bloody Snoop Dogg, and I'm not a massive Snoop Dogg fan. But anyway, moving on. Thanks for your email. I do appreciate it. Right, I've one here from Pauline. One doesn't even say where she's from. Darn. Hello, Pauline. Thank you for your email. Pauline says, "Hi, Matthew. I've been a long-time viewer of your YouTube channel for the last 3 to 4 years. Me and my partner have been watching your channel with great interest, especially over the years watching your children grow up. I cannot believe that your daughter is almost 18. It's incredible how much she's grown over the last few years. I remember seeing her in the vlogs with squeaky voices and also developing into a young lady. Now she's a full-grown woman, and I'm sure you're very proud of her." I am, actually. I actually am very proud of her. Also lately as well, when we see you with your son, the bond that you have is incredible. Me and my partner never had any children ourselves because unfortunately we never had that, can't even speak, we never had that pleasure of having children because we couldn't have any children. But when we see things like that there, it brings a warmness to our heart. Keep up the good work on your YouTube channel. Please put out more videos because we're always looking out for new videos. And keep up the great work on your podcast as well, because we like to see a different side of you on your podcast every week because we love listening to you on the kitchen smart speaker. So there you go. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Yes, the kids have grown up a lot, and I am proud of them. So they are, especially Brooke. Brooke, God love her, she's working her tail off at the minute. And she's at college, and she's trying to get herself further educated so she can finally get a job in the school, which is great to see. So yes, but thank you for watching all the videos. Stay tuned for that announcement when it comes to the videos as well on the channel. Stay tuned, it's coming. But yes, once again, thank you for your email. I'll do one more email and then I'll move on, guys, because I want to obviously get onto the social media ones as well. Let's have a look here. Right, I have one here from Lenny, Lennie, Lenny says to me on the email, "Hey Matthew, can I ask you what camera you're using for your YouTube channel? I'm a recent new subscriber to your channel, and I was wanting to see if you could give me some advice on what camera you're using for your videos. Your camera quality seems really clear, and I just wanted to see if you could give me some tips on making videos myself." And that comes from Lenny. Certainly, Lenny, I'm using 2 cameras at the minute. I use my iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I also use the GoPro Hero 11. So that's the cameras I'm using at the minute for my videoing. Now, in saying that there, when I bought the GoPro Hero 11, about 3 or 4 weeks later, they brought out the fucking GoPro Hero 12. Not that there's much of a difference in it, like, to be quite honest, but that's the type of stuff that I'm using at the minute. I edit all my vlogs on my phone. Sometimes I would edit them on my laptop, depending if I'm using a different camera. I've video editing software now all on the go, which is great. So yeah, if you're looking at any more tips or help or whatever, certainly drop me another email. I mean, I've had people contact me in this podcast over the last few months asking for help in relation to setting up videos and then setting up YouTube channels and whatever else. And like, I've had guys wanting to do, they had passions for, I think it was trains and public transport. Other people wanted to talk about different, set up a podcast as well, talk about different things, about their different passions and stuff. So certainly, you want to drop me an email if you have any more questions. I will reply to you, certainly, not a problem at all. But thank you for your message. It's awesome. Right, let's get into Instagram. I'll go into Instagram. Official Matthew Moore on Instagram. Let's have a look here and see what we've got today. Right, I've one here from Albert. Albert, where are you from, Albert? I'll click on your profile here. Albert is from Manchester. Ooh, the dreaded Manchester, the place that makes my feet burn every time I step in it. Nah, I'm only weighing you up. That's just a Liverpool joke. Anyway, Albert on Instagram has said to me, "Hi Matthew, can I ask you for your recent thoughts on the death of Bobby Charlton? I know you're a big Liverpool fan, but can I ask you for your thoughts on the recent passing of this football icon? Keep up the good work on your podcast. Thank you." Okay, certainly, Albert, not a problem at all. Obviously, massive name in the world of football, another icon gone from the game. I thought that the wee thing that Man United done for him the other night on the game in the Champions League, where they come out with the Piper and stuff, I thought that was actually a really nice touch. I thought it was really, really good. Obviously, massive loss to the world of football. He was such an icon at Manchester United. He was an icon for his country, and just the stuff that gentleman done for football in itself was incredible. I heard towards the end of his life he obviously wasn't too good. He was doing not very good. I heard a rumour, I think he maybe had dementia or something like that, I'm not too sure. But again, the world of football has lost another icon, which is so sad. He was one of the survivors from the Munich disaster. He was just an incredible footballer back in the day. I mean, obviously being a Liverpool supporter, people say like, "Oh, but you're a Liverpool man, you don't listen." When an icon like that dies in football, the likes of it, even the level even of a George Best or something like that passes away in football. Any football icon passes away who's a massive name in football. For example, the likes of Maradona, who's passed away in recent years, Pele, who's passed away in recent years. When big massive names like that pass away, it's a big loss for the whole football world. And Mr. Charlton was obviously a massive name in the world of football. And again, he's a massive loss even for Manchester United as a club as a whole. And some of the tributes that have been paid for him over the last lot of days has been absolutely amazing. And then saying that there, but I'm on that subject with you as well. What about, was it yesterday, the Everton chairman passing away? Your man Kenwright? What the fuck? Like, out of nowhere. He just passed away. I don't know why he was ill or whatever. I haven't heard any more about it, but again, even Liverpool put a lovely statement out about him and all, saying that they're going to pay tribute to him and Bobby Charlton at the next 2 home games. So I don't know whether they're going to do the thing about the Everton. Well, they'll probably do the Everton Kenwright thing on probably Sunday's game for Forest. But then they're playing at home tonight against Toulouse. So maybe they'll do something for Bobby Charlton tonight, because Liverpool's put it out on social media that they're going to be doing things like that in remembrance of those players, or of those people even as well. So to answer your question again, it's another icon of football gone. Another generational talent who came from a generation where football back then were real men, like real footballers, unlike some of them pansy-ass Ginny-ans you see falling around the pitch now and getting paid ludicrous money. These were boys who played on proper football pitches, like real strong, tough men, compared to the pitches that they play on now, like fucking bowling greens. These boys played on pitches that were like fucking hard to even to look at, even play on. But again, it's another icon gone, and it's so sad, especially for Manchester United, especially as well, because obviously he was a massive United supporter. He came to all the games, he supported the club, and a lot of the ex-players have come out recently as well, spoke to the likes of David Beckham and Gary Neville and Peter Schmeichel, and even players before that there and all too have come out and spoke out about him too as well, and then recent players over the years that obviously have spoken to him and given him a bit of inspiration when they were at the club. But it's another massive loss to the world of football. So sad. But this is the thing, guys. I always say when the big man upstairs calls your number and it's time to go, it's time to go. And it's so sad. It was the early 80s or something, how old he was, but he's lived a great life, and he'll obviously be missed by a lot of Manchester United supporters especially. So, rest in peace. But listen, thanks for your question. Albert, appreciate it, as always. But obviously I assume Albert's a Manchester United supporter because he's from Manchester. Even Man City done a lovely tribute about him as well, which was good to see. But then I heard a lot of Man City supporters, when they announced it last weekend, they were chanting things in the lobbies of the Etihad, disgusting things, like really horrible things, and apparently Man City are barring them now for life, which is rightfully so, because people like that should be fucking barred from football. Scumbags, absolute scumbags. Moving on, let's go on to another one here on Instagram. Right, I've one here from Teresa. Teresa on Instagram. Where are you from, Teresa? Let me click here and have a look here and see. It doesn't say where you're from. Just shows me a lovely photograph of yourself standing beside a lake with a glass of wine in your hand. Lucky for you. Teresa. Teresa writes to me, "Hi Matthew, just a wee sort of hello-ha to you and your family. Hope you're all keeping well. Just wanted to ask you for your podcast this week. Are you ever going to bring any guests onto your podcast, or are you just going to keep shooting from the hip? We'd love to hear you talking to other people. I know you have a lot of interest and contacts in football, because we all know you are involved in football. Would you ever even consider doing a football podcast or a football show, as well as the Moore Army podcast? Let me know what you think on this. Take care." Well, there you go. Yes. Do you know something? I used to do a football show. I mentioned this before, just recently there on this podcast, that I used to be part of a football show on a Monday night live on local radio, where I spoke on the air with a co-host. We talked about all types of football around the world, over here in Northern Ireland, the Premier League in England, all different levels of football around the world. We talked about all different things that were going on. But to answer your question, would I ever do a football podcast? I wouldn't mind, to be quite honest with you. Again, in this country, because of all the contacts I have in football, I possibly could, but again, I don't want to step on too many toes with different people out there, because the guy I used to work with in local radio, who now works for the BBC, has a podcast out there where he interviews a lot of local players and all too as well, so I really wouldn't want to step on toes. I mean, I could just go out and do that there, because there's a couple of other guys doing it too as well, but I don't know. I mean, when it comes to football, I could promote the football in this country more as well, because I've obviously had a lot of contacts like ex-Irish League legends and players who are currently playing in the country, and I could sort of like do things like that. But I don't know, maybe one day. I've been thinking about it actually quite recently as well, because I love football and I love talking about football, but I don't know, maybe one day I could even possibly do something like that. I don't know, to be quite honest with you. But bringing guests onto this podcast, yeah, I could, but then you gotta like listen to this announcement that I'm going to be making, because this podcast is going to be changing, and I'm also going to be, it's hard to explain. You need to go and listen to the announcement. So it's going to be interesting. Trust me, it's going to be interesting. But thank you for your question. Have a nice time. I'm wherever I have a photograph you were taking holding that glass of wine, it looks absolutely beautiful behind you, that lovely lake behind you. Lucky sod. But anyway, yes, let's go on to another one here. Right. I love this. This is the best part of the week. I love when I'm doing all these questions from people. It's absolutely amazing, so it is. Right, I've one here from, let's have a look. Stevie on Instagram says, "Matthew, I've been watching a couple of your recent videos and I see you're looking at a name for the picture on your living room wall of your cow. I have a few suggestions for names for your cow. Would you like to hear them? If so, mail me back." Okay, Stevie. Yes, I have actually mentioned on recent videos, I have a lovely picture of a art portrait of a cow on my wall, and I've been asking viewers to give me some suggestions for names for the cow. Now, I got a recent lovely picture of a big massive elephant, which I absolutely adore. This artwork, it's beautiful, and I actually you're going to laugh when I tell you this, I actually called it Jean after Mum. And the reason why, I'm not saying Mum looks like a fucking elephant, the reason why I'm saying it is because Mum loves elephants, and she's also got this lovely piece of ornament thing she's had it for like fucked. How old's Tony? Tony's 33, 34. She's had this since like late 80s, early 90s, before Tony was even born. I think she maybe had it before. And she still has it this day, and it's beautiful, and she loves elephants. So it's just whenever I saw this, I thought, that's Jean the elephant. She's a female. And when I told Mum, she looked at me and went, I don't look like a fucking elephant. I mean, I never said you did. It's just it's named after you because you love your elephants. But I've got this lovely piece of artwork on my wall, and it's one of them cows, you know, the cow arts you see knocking about and stuff. And I'm looking for people to give me a name for it. So yes, I would like to hear what your suggestions is. Send them back to me. Stevie, get them into me and let me read them. I would love to hear from you. So... right, let's get on to another one here. Let's have a look here and see. Right, I've one here from Tony. Oh, Tony. Not brother Tony because he's not on social media. Tony. Hey, Matthew, quick question for you. I know you're a massive Liverpool fan, but do you have any other clubs around the world that you have a soft spot for? If so, let me know. Okay, Tony. I do have a soft spot for a couple of wee clubs. And funny enough, I was actually watching one of them last night, and my brother supports them. Newcastle United. I always thought Newcastle are a very passionate club. You know, their fans wear their hearts on their sleeves, and they're just a passionate club. So they are. They're so, you know, like even them Champions League nights recently and all too. The fans are just electric. So they are. Any other clubs you got a wee soft spot for? I don't know. It's just Newcastle. Over here, obviously, I've support clubs over here too as well. But in the likes of England stuff, especially, there's like Newcastle, and I don't know. There's just a few. I've actually enjoyed watching Luton play in the Premier League this year. This is quite interesting, especially to their old wee ground, Kenilworth Road. What a fucking ground to be in the Premier League, I tell you. But yeah, Newcastle's always been like a wee soft spot for me, especially during the 80s and the early 90s when they had the Kevin Keegan era, and they had the likes of David Ginola and Rio Ferdinand, Alan Shearer, as I've openly stated on this podcast many times, my all-time favourite player. I know you're probably thinking, what, you're a Liverpool man? But I used to love Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer was just your typical old school forward. He had muscle, he had grit, he had determination. He was just an old school forward who would score you 30 goals a season. He was great in the air. He had power. He wasn't the fastest player on the pitch, but he was just an ultimate striker. And I used to look up to Alan Shearer. And maybe I'd love to meet him actually one day. I'd love to. Maybe one day eventually. But I used to love Alan Shearer. But there you go. Well, thank you for your question. Let's do one more before I move on to Facebook. Let's have a look here and see now what have we got here now. Right, that's one here from Ruby. Ruby, R-U-B-I-E. Ruby. It's a bit of a strange name, but it's normally R-U-B-Y, is it not? R-U-B-I-E. Ruby. Ruby. There you are. Hey, Matthew. I just wanted to say something to you which I thought was quite funny. I was browsing through your videos about a week or so ago, and I came across an old video on your YouTube channel where your daughter was quite small and she was doing your makeup. Would you ever consider reenacting that video for a bit of fun and a bit more content for your channel? I know back then Brooke obviously couldn't do makeup the way she can now, but would you ever consider doing that just for a bit of fun and banter with your daughter? Do you know something? I actually would do it for a laugh. Because you know me, I don't give a shit anymore. Yes, fucking many years ago was that video? Gee whiz, that was a long time ago. That was about, 5 years ago maybe? Gee whiz, that's an old video. Like, I've my laptop here and at them, and I'm actually going to search that up now and see where. If I'm actually fine, I've actually got my laptop here in front of me now. I'm actually going to do that now. Let me see, where are we here? What was it called? Brooke Does Matthew's Makeup or something, wasn't it? I would say that's a good few years ago. Gee whiz, that's crazy. But would I ever reenact that again? Yeah, sure, why not, for a bit of fun. I'm sure Brooke would actually love fun doing that to me. Let's have a look here and see. Right, let's have a wee look and see if I can come across that video. I would say it was a good 5-6 years ago. Easy. Where are we? No, can't really see him. I'm trying to find it here. I'm just going through some of my old videos. Right, I'll type my name in as well. But yeah, flip me. That was a long time ago. I'm just trying to find this bloody video to see when it was, because I remember it was so funny. Because I think that we do. I think maybe it was in a normal. We done face masks as well that night. There's it there. No, that's a normal we done. That's the Pamper Night video we done 2.5 years ago. Let's have a look here and see. Where was that bloody video? Brooke does Matthew's makeup. There you go, 5 years ago. Found it. 5 years ago. That is insane. So it is 5 years ago. Do you know something? I'm actually going to bring that up to Brooke today and see if she'll actually try and do that with me. I think that'd actually be quite funny. So, but I actually think that'd be actually really, really funny. So it would. But yeah, that was flipping a good while ago, like, because even then she had like a wee squeaky voice and all still, and she was laughing, and she had me sitting on a bloody chair like a tit. Oh, the times, but I'll say to her when I'm going to see her later on today. I'll say, here, Brooke, I had a listener today on the podcast wanted to see if we want to react that video again. Let's see. Sure, why not? Let's have a go at it. See what she has to say. But anyway, yes, thank you for your question. Moving on to Facebook. Here we go. Moving on to Facebook. Let's have a look and see what we've got on Facebook today here. Right, here's one here. Hi Matthew, how are you doing? My name is Stephen and I am 16 years of age. I have been saving my pocket money since I was 5 years of age, and I was wanting to ask you a random question. Are you a big saver of money like I am? I know it's a bit random, but I just thought about asking you anyway. Are you a big saver of money, or do you like to spend money as soon as you get it? That's a bit of a fucking random one, isn't it? Strange. You've been saving your pocket money since you were 4? Fair play to you, mate. I think I had something like that before, actually, in the podcast. Am I a saver? Kind of, yeah. In recent years, yeah, I would kind of like be very weary about my money and what I spend it on and what I don't spend it on, and I'm just sort of like very cautious of money, especially in this day and age with everything being so bloody expensive now. Yeah, I would be a bit of a saver. For a long time, obviously, I went through some financial issues years ago when I was still married at the time, but now it's like, it's a completely different thing. I only spend really when I need to. So I do. But yeah, I mean, you've been saving since you were bloody 4. I'm sure you have a good few quid in the bank now, like, but my son will be a bit of a saver too as well. The video I put out there actually yesterday of us in Belfast, we were actually at the bank trying to get information about setting up Lewis a bank account, which we're going to get set up hopefully before he goes away here at the weekend. He wants to set up his own bank account and start saving money. So yeah, I'm maybe a bit of a saver, but not as bad as yourself. Like, you've been saving since you were 4 and you're now 16, so what's that, about 12 years? But here, listen, there's not many 16-year-olds out there who save their money. So fair play to you, young man. So, but thank you for your question. But caught me off guard, like, but thank you for your question. Means a lot. Right, one here from Paul. Paul on Facebook has said to me, hi Matthew, I just recently came across your videos. I am from London and I came across your video where you and Lewis were at Wembley Stadium for AEW All In. I was at the show myself with my 2 daughters. We were up in the nosebleed sections, but where we saw it there looked very small, but your view looked amazing for where you were sitting. I thought it was a great show, but also, what's your view on all this controversy about the actual attendance of the event? Do you really believe there was 80,000 people there? What's your view on this? Okay. Well, I would believe that there probably was, because Wembley Stadium's a 90,000 seater stadium, and that's before you put stuff on the pitch, like seats on the pitch and whatnot. Now, obviously, I remember at one point looking around me when I was sitting on the floor, looking around the stadium, going, yeah, well, there's only a few empty seats. Obviously, they had a part of it behind where the hard cam was, where it was a bit cordoned off and stuff, but, you know, no matter what it was still a massive show. They were saying there was 81,000 tickets sold. Now, whether the 81,000 people turned up, I don't know. But again, it was a great experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Lewis and I loved it, guys. You haven't checked out the vlog, go and watch it. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, there was live music at it as well, live performances. We were sitting in the middle of the fucking pitch at Wembley Stadium with all these people around us. It was incredible. We're due to go back next year for the next show again. And then we got some news dropped on us yesterday that apparently WWE are running a big pay-per-view event in Germany. So me and Lewis were talking about yesterday, maybe even possibly going to that as well. So we don't know yet. That's next August, so we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, yes, I thought, even though no matter what the attendance was, I thought it was an incredible night. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure you enjoyed it with your kids as well. It was a great experience, and again, it's one that I'll always hold close to me because Lewis and I had a fantastic time, and you know, I have those memories now with Lewis, the fact that we're at Wembley Stadium and stuff, and we still say to each other to this day, like months later, Lewis, could you imagine actually we were sitting right in the middle of Wembley Stadium watching a wrestling show live in front of 80,000 people. Like, I've been to WrestleManias and stuff like that, but Lewis has never been like that, and he loved it. It was an amazing experience and a night that I'll never forget. Never ever forget. So, but I hope you had a good time with your kids, and thanks for your message, and thank you for watching the videos, and thank you for obviously subscribing to the YouTube channel. It means a lot. Right, I'll do one more on Facebook before I move on here on the podcast. Let's have a look here and see. Right, I've one here from Martin. Martin says to me, "Hi Matthew, just wanted to ask you, are you at all a fan of American football or baseball or any other American sports?" Well, Martin, to be quite honest with you, when I was growing up, obviously I watched ice hockey because I go to ice hockey with Lewis. I used to watch some baseball when I was younger. American football, no, I'm not a big fan of it. I still sometimes scratch my head when it comes to the rules and stuff. Now, I watch the Super Bowl every year just because of, obviously, it's the Super Bowl and also the late halftime entertainment. But I'm not a massive American football fan. I wouldn't sit and watch a full game all the time. I mean, I have friends of mine who watch it religiously. They support their own teams and all, which is great. But I've never been a massive fan of American football. Never been a massive fan at all. And that's probably going to annoy a lot of people, but I'm just not a big fan of it, to be quite honest. It's not my go-to sport. I'd watch ice hockey more and baseball. Basketball I used to watch quite a lot too as well when I was a kid. Lewis watches a lot of basketball because he's a basketball fan. So he is. So he loves the Phoenix Suns. His favourite player is Denver Booker. So he is a big, massive basketball fan. I mean, I used to watch basketball a lot. It's so funny though because I look at stuff at my son these days and I see things in him that I used to do when I was a kid, like watch wrestling and basketball and all these different things, the things that he does, goes out and plays football with his mates, plays basketball on the driveway with his basketball net, and does all the wee things that I used to do. Very simple things. He doesn't go out and do all this crazy stuff, but he likes to do wee simple things like I do. You know, like playing the computer games in the house sometimes and go out for a walk with my mates, play a bit of football, the local football pitch. You know, it just sort of reminds me of me. Unlike some ones at his age are out there just doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Which I'm quite blessed, to be quite honest, which is a good thing. But yes, once again, thank you for your question. It's always appreciated. Right, it's now time for the segment of the podcast that I love every week. I love this puzzler. It's now time for the Moore Army podcast Jackass of the Week segment. There he is, RB friend, old Boris the donkey. How you doing, Boris? Well, guys, this actually didn't take much consideration, to be quite honest with you. I have four candidates for Jackass of the Week this week. A few have obviously contacted me with your suggestions and stuff, but guys, this had to be the main one for me because obviously I talked about it earlier on the podcast because it really sort of baffled me because of the whole, you're not allowed to say the word Christmas anymore, and you're not allowed to, oh my God, Santa's cancelled and all. So you know who I'm going to talk about here, like, but it just, some people are just mad. But anyway, this week's Moore Army podcast Jackass of the Week is, can I get a drum roll please? Thank you very much, as always. The Moore Army podcast Jackass of the Week for this week is the Royal Bowes Museum in England. And the reason why is because of the whole controversy going around saying that the whole thing now, Christmas is now to be said anymore, and it's all gone woke, and it's now to be part of the whole thing at the museum now, and they're all saying that Christmas is cancelled and Santa's cancelled and all that stuff. So in my eyes, they are jackasses. So the Jackass of the Week for this week is the Bowes Museum, the Royal Bowes Museum in England. they are the jackass of the week for this week. Guys, that's going to bring us to the end. Now, as I said to you, want to thank once again Food Guru and I for supporting this podcast today. You want to go and follow them on TikTok, Facebook, etc. You can follow them on there. Food Guru and I do all great food reviews about all different local businesses, food outlets, and more in Northern Ireland. So it's Food Guru and I. Follow them on TikTok. I'm on there too as well, by the way, TikTok. So thank you very much for supporting the Moore Army. I do appreciate it. Also, guys, we're back on Tuesday for our Halloween special of the Moore Army podcast. So please, if you can, send us in some of your funny Halloween stories. What outlandish outfits you could be possibly wearing this year. And more. So please get in touch with us. I'd love to hear some of your stories. I'm going to maybe try and get maybe someone on the podcast on Tuesday, maybe Brooke or Lewis or something, have a wee chat with me about Halloween memories for them. So we're going to do a wee thing on Tuesday on the podcast. So stay tuned for that coming up on Tuesday. Stay tuned for the big announcement over the weekend or over the next day or so of the channel changing, the podcast changing, etc., etc. Stay tuned for that. I'm also going to be dropping an RB video today from Lewis and I experience in Belfast for a night of ice hockey down at the arcades and stuff like that there. So that's dropping today. And I am going to be enjoying my night tonight with a nice cold beer, chilling out, hopefully seeing Liverpool win again in the Europa League. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We'll see. So some great stuff coming up over the next few days, guys. And also if you want to go and check out and you want to get in touch with me, you know how to do it now. And also you can check out our website, which is moorearmy.co.uk, for all your merchandise for the Moore Army, whether it be the podcast or the YouTube channel. Check out all our social media posts, all the podcasts, vlogs and all that are all on there too as well. And if you're listening to us here on Spotify, Apple Music, please add us to your favourites or tune in radio. Hello. Or if you're listening to it on YouTube, please drop a like on this video on YouTube and also hit subscribe to the Moore Army Podcast YouTube channel as well. Done and dusted. It's Thursday. I'm on my way down the road here now to get a beer. I know it's pissing down outside, but I don't really care. I'm on my way. I'm going to get a beer here. So I am. So I'm on my way. Guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekends, whatever you're up to. And I'll see you back here on Tuesday for another edition of the Moore Army Podcast. Have a great weekend, guys. And until next Tuesday, I will see you all then. Thanks for listening.